Hello, welcome to the Burt Locker. I am Burt, and this is a show all about mixed martial arts. I'm going to be taking a look at what happened at UFC Vegas 69, basically recapping the event, winners and losers, that kind of thing. I'm going to take a quick look at MMA news. There's been a couple of things going on, not least IV Gate. I'm sure you've heard about that. I'll give my 2 cents on that. Also, I have found one of the funniest pieces of MMA-based Twitter, courtesy of Mr. Sean Strickland and MMA Shark in the comments. It's absolutely brilliant. That's going to be my MMA Troll of the Week. So if that all sounds good, stay with me for the Burt Locker. Right, so first up, I would just like to address that last week's episode, I said a good matchup for Jack Della Maddalena next would be Dan Ige. Yeah, damn right that'd be a good matchup because Dan Ige is like 2 weight classes below Jack Della Maddalena, so apologies for that. JDM is a welterweight. He was fighting Randy Brown, another welterweight, and I know that Dan Ige is a featherweight, so I don't know what I was thinking, okay? I must have still been drunk from the weekend. I got it wrong, and that happens from time to time on this show because, you know, I just talk. I just go through it. You know what? I still would like to see it. Just because it would be a nice easy win for JDM. Either way, JDM's a problem. Like wherever he decides to fight, he's got hands of steel, like that kid. But yeah, if you can look past all of the like glaring inaccuracies that I come out with, then hit subscribe. That'd be much appreciated. Next up, so we've got UFC Vegas 69 is in the books. So first up, I want to say that Chechenian fella, what was his name? Askabov? Yeah. Terrible. Turns out that not all the undefeated Russians are any good at all. He was 23-0. Clearly, that's a padded record because he was garbage. Quite frankly, he just kept on throwing really big shots and just missing, swinging and missing, just the whole time. And then when he went to try and wrestle, couldn't get anything going. It's like, you know what? Yeah, they're not all as scary as their records suggest, are they? Marcin Palacino was exactly as I thought. More to the point, William Knight was exactly as I thought. I thought that William Knight was going to be. He looks really impressive, right? He should go into bodybuilding. He looks scary as hell, but in reality, he's got no movement. His grappling isn't as good as it should be, considering his size, and he just stands getting kicked and punched until the bell goes. Like, literally, that's all he does. He breathes heavily, lumbers slowly, gets the shit kicked out of him. That's literally what happens. Most fights, William Knight needs to enter bodybuilding. He's got a great physique. Does it translate into fighting? No, apparently not. I think he threw maybe 3 punches the entire fight. It was like his coach was getting so frustrated, and rightfully so. His coach was just like, what is going on? You are just not throwing anything. You understand that? You're not throwing anything. This is ridiculous at this point. Yeah, I did feel for his coach, and yeah, it was just a terrible performance. So needs a rethink. If William Knight is going to continue, he needs to actually work on being able to get things into his range because he's fighting at that weight class. He's huge. He's a big lump of a bloke, but he's quite short. So, because one of the things he was saying to his coach is, "Oh, he's not coming into my range." It's like, yeah, that's his job to fight at his range. If you need to fight in your range, you get it into your range, dude. That's fighting 101, isn't it? God damn it. Anyway, yeah, disappointing night for William Knight, but I did predict it, so one of my bets did come off. I was pretty happy with that. I thought that was one of the most obvious things to happen on the entire card, quite frankly. Palacino by decision against William Knight is something that you could probably put your house on, and your financial advisor would be like, yeah, no, that's solid. Anyway, there's Josh Parisian. He broke it. He was in the heavyweight. He was fighting. He did. This one of the main things I took away from that fight. He lost the decision in the end, but and the other dude was pretty good. But he broke his toe, and he did a front kick to the face and just broke his toes. You saw him just break. It's like, oh, dude, that's rough. And the other thing is, the other fella had his mum, who's been ill. Sorry, I keep referring to him as the other fella. I'll show him the respect. It's Jamal Pogues. Jamal Pogues had his mother in the audience. She's just like recovered from cancer or something, or she's still going through it. But either way, right? You have somebody's like a dying mother in the front row, and you're supposed to beat up this guy. That doesn't even seem fair to me. I don't think that should be allowed. That's got to get. It's like, how are you supposed to, like, Josh Parisian seems like a nice guy. How are you supposed to beat up somebody who's got his sick mum in the front row? That doesn't seem right to me. I don't know. But yeah, either way, it was a nothingy fight, really. It was okay, I guess. I don't think neither of them exactly lit the world on fire. Then, exactly as I thought, the American Ninja was like super underworld, or the Beverly Hills Ninja, whatever the hell he wants to call himself. He can call himself whatever he wants when he goes over to Bellator, quite frankly. But yeah, he was just bad. Like, he's never looked good, Jordan Wright. I don't get what all the hype was behind him. I think they wanted like a new Stephen Thompson, but at light heavyweight or something along those lines. But it's just not delivered at any point, has he? And speaking of not delivering, Jessica Andrade also didn't deliver, and I was shocked by that one. I will admit that I didn't think that Blanchfield was going to be able to beat Andrade in any area, and it turns out she beat Andrade in every area. So look, shut my mouth. That one I was genuinely shocked by. Congratulations to Erin Blanchfield though. She looked fantastic. Getting a submission over Jessica Andrade. Yeah, you've got to be calling for a title shot next. That's a huge win, and she's super young as well. I think she's like 23 years old. She could become the youngest champion in the females division in history. And you know what? She looks very good. She's got an excellent skill set. Fair play to her. That was a fun fight as well. I really did enjoy watching that one. So there, that was a wrap up of UFC Vegas 69. Do me a favour, hit subscribe. Thank you. Anyway, Jailton Almeida is set to fight Jairzinho Rozenstruik in May on May 13th. So I'm assuming that must be a fight night or a UFC Vegas or something. That's an interesting fight. I think that Rozenstruik, he's going to struggle because Jailton Almeida is going to be very, very fast. He's very fast, very explosive. Almeida has been taking the UFC by storm. He's a very, very mobile, quick heavyweight. He could fight a light heavyweight, but he's such a savage that he just batters heavyweights. So Rozenstruik might have his work cut out for him here, but Biggie Boy did look good in his last fight, and if Rozenstruik goes out there with confidence and goes out there for the kill, he can really be a problem for anybody. So look, I'm just looking forward. That's a fun fight. Colour me interest. This is me signing up to Jailton Almeida versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. So the main thing in the news has been IV Gate. Obviously, we saw Islam Makhachev narrowly beating Alexander Volkanovski in the UFC 284, was it? 283? Yeah, 284. Either way. Dan Hooker then went online and accused Islam Makhachev of using an IV to rehydrate. We all know the weight cut is not an easy one for Islam Makhachev. We all know that if you wanted to call somebody a weight bully, then those kind of Dagestan wrestler guys who cut their life away to get down to a smaller weight class so that they can beat up on guys that are like, it's so they have the strength and size advantage, should I say. That is weight bullying, but it's not really a thing because it is allowed. Do you know what I mean? Weight cutting is a thing. It's in the rules. There's nothing wrong with it. But you're not allowed to use an IV to rehydrate. At least you're allowed to use like 100 mils or something like that. It seems like the rules are not as black and white as we first thought they were. But either way, Ali Abdulaziz, he confirmed that that all of his fighters have been using IVs because you're allowed to use IVs 2 to 3 litres or something. He quickly deleted that because that is not the rules at all. So I think that he deleted that because it's like, oh, that's pretty incriminating. Oh dear. Oh dear, I just confirmed that all my fighters are using 2 to 3 litres of IVs to rehydrate, which is a flagrant violation of the rules of the sport. So I'd better delete that tweet because that's basically just throwing all of my fighters under the bus. That's a great job there from Delaziz. Anyway, the long and short of it is they're not able to prove anything whether Islam Makhachev used like 100 litres or 100 mils or 100 litres. So it's or 3. Either way, they're not going to do anything. The fight is the fight. It was a narrow fight. People are still discussing it. I think it probably was the right decision. I thought that Volkanovski needed a finish going into the 5th. But either way, Volkanovski certainly wrote the blueprint for causing problems for that Dagestan wrestling style. I think that everyone was a winner in that fight, honestly. It was really good. So then, just before I head into what Sean Strickland has been looking at, I'd just like to remind you again, if you've made it to this point in the video, you probably quite enjoy what you see. It's just a silly, fun, light-hearted approach to MMA news and, you know, analysis and breakdowns and things like that. So do me a favour, just hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Troll of the week, Sean Strickland. Take a bow, sir. In fact, Sean Strickland and the MMA Shark, because I pop it up here. Basically, Strickland... at the weekend, Diego Sanchez, Diego Sanchez fought in bare knuckle boxing and it wasn't pretty. He got battered, and it's just starting to becoming tough to watch. Diego Sanchez still fighting in any facet. I don't think it should be happening. But anyway, Strickland said, when will beating up Diego Sanchez be treated as beating up a retard? Laughing my ass off. At some point, you've got to look in the mirror and think, I just fucked up a mentally ill man. Lol. Bare knuckle FC equals piece of shit clown show. Well, POS, that's what that means anyway. Bare Knuckle FC then came back with what they thought was a real zinger. They said, even we wouldn't sign Sean Strickland MMA. We got better taste than that. And then the MMA Shark just reminded them, you guys signed Greg Hardy. Stop! Because that is true. They did sign Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy also got his clock cleaned at the weekend. And so there's a little bit of justice for... you know, domestic abuse victims everywhere, I guess, because that's what Greg Hardy. Long story short, Greg Hardy was done for, you know, domestic violence, and that's why people don't like him. But yeah, he got battered, so you know, I'm sure some people can take some pleasure in that, I suppose. And on that note, on that horrible note, I'm going to say that is enough from me for this week. This weekend, obviously, we've got Ryan Spann taking on Nikita Krylov. I'm going to be doing the whole card casual guide, so stay tuned for that. And also going to pick a couple of fights to have a bit of a deeper look into. But until then, keep all those odds long and those bets terrible.